Hey guys, and welcome. LordOfPondtail here with another video for Rise of Empires, Ice and Fire. Today in this video, I'm going to be talking about basic hero skills for our combat heroes. So I'm just going to run through the 8 different skills that you can get from a orange or seasonal combat hero, and just explain what each of those skills are going to be doing for you, and just talk about the differences between normal orange and seasonal heroes, the extra benefits you have from the seasonal heroes, and also some of the nuances to the skills. So let's get straight into it and have a look into heroes. So I'm going to start with just a normal orange hero, and so you click on the hero and go to the left hand screen with the scroll and the quill, and this is going to give you your skill info. A orange and seasonal hero have 8 skills, and I guess the simplest way to split them up is that you have your leadership skills, which are skills 1, 3, 4, 6 and 7. These are going to provide buffs to the number of troops you have in your legion, their resistance, their might, their health, power. So it's things that are going to support and improve the troops in your legion, or just in your squad, the squad that the hero is leading. Skills 2, 5 and 8 are the hero's skills, and this is specifically what the hero is going to impact in the battle itself. And what you've got to think about is these skills do have lots of different effects on the battle. Some skills are just pure combat skills, dealing damage to the opponent. Some skills are buff skills, where they're going to improve the statistics or the status of your legion's troops. Some are going to be like passive skills, so if, for instance, you get attacked, then it might automatically mean that your troops would counter-attack before they attack the enemy again in their normal turn. And then you've got other things like debuff, which will remove status effects that the opponent's heroes have caused to you. So there's lots of different elements to these combat skills, which I will probably just cover in individual hero reviews rather than in this video, otherwise it'll go on for too long. And I'm conscious people just want to have quick information related to them. So let's review these 8 skills. So the first skill, skill 1, is always this leadership skill, Dictator. The target is your hero's squad, so just the one set of troops that are being led by this individual hero. And all these skills have 10 levels, and the activation requirement is effective when stationed in the training ground, so you just need to have obviously the hero assigned in your legion. And skill 1, what that's going to do, it's going to increase the number of troops in that squad, and it gives up to a maximum bonus of an additional 23,100 marching capacity for the hero squad. Obviously, the more troops you have, the more damage they'll do to the opponent, and also the more damage that the opponent has to do to you for you to fail. And particularly on your front row of your legion, it's very important to have your troop number maxed as high as possible, because once that front line fails, obviously you lose those troops. Your lines reduce to 2, so the opponent's heroes are more likely to have more skills that can hit your remaining troops, and you also lose the hero from that line, so you'll lose the abilities of that hero in terms of their combat skills and what they're doing to support your legion as a whole. So it's really key to have that front row maxed, for instance. Second skill is a combat skill, as I said. It will usually be the hero's weakest skill, but again, you want to be maxing this to level 10 as soon as you can, because it's one of the 2 combat skills where you don't need too much requirements to unlock it. As we go through the skill levels, you'll have to actually increase your hero's level to access those skills, and I'll just show you now what levels you need to do. So I'll go to one of my undeveloped heroes. So I only got Tarantula last week, for instance. I haven't started working on her yet. I don't have a duplicate for her. But if we just look, you'll see that when you first receive a hero, you have skill 1 unlocked at level 1, so you can increase that troop number. But then the other 7 skills are locked, and to unlock them you just have to get to both the appropriate level for the hero by using and gaining hero experience, and then there'll be other criteria for unlocking that skill as well, whether it be gold, using wisdom medals, and then hero medals. We'll have a look at that as we go through the different skills here. So for this second skill for Tarantula, you need to reach level 6, and then you would require 200,000 gold and 50 wisdom medals. For skill 3, you're going to need to reach level 12, have 300,000 gold, 100 wisdom medals, and 3 blue hero medals. And you can obtain hero medals by just getting duplicates of heroes when you're through recruitment, and you'll be able to see in your arena how many heroes you have, how many duplicates. So if I choose this, it will show, as you can see, you can just select 3 from the hero medals, the duplicates. Skill 4, you're going to unlock it when you reach level 20. It would require 400,000 gold, 10 purple hero medals, and 5 blue hero medals. So this is something to consider. That's quite a lot of purple hero medals. You're not going to obtain purple as often if you're not recruiting a lot, for instance. So you really need to think about, in the arena, I would suggest if you're not generating a lot of purple hero medals, then you want to save your your purple medals for unlocking this 4th skill, rather than exchanging them for wisdom medals. You can just use your green and blue medals to exchange for wisdom medals. On to skill 5, and to unlock this you're going to need to get your hero to reach level 25, 600,000 gold, and then an orange hero medal, just one of any orange hero medals, and then 7 blue. On to skill 6. Now, for every hero, whether it's a normal orange combat hero or the season heroes, for skill 6 you will need a duplicate hero medal of that specific hero. So as you can see here for Tarantula, it says hero medal, the Tarantula. So before I can unlock this skill level, I'm going to need to get a duplicate from her, and hopefully I can either, the most likely way you're going to get that is either by doing the seasonal recruitment, as I did last week, where I used my 510 super tickets, and I ended up with, for instance, 2 duplicates of Avalanche and 3 duplicates of Army Breaker. The other way that you're going to get a seasonal hero is in your end of season Reign of Chaos rewards. And that's another reason why, if you're not a big spender, it's really important to give your all in Reign of Chaos and try and get your alliance as high in those rankings as you can, so that you can have the chance to obtain as many seasonal heroes as possible. What are the other requirements apart from the level 35 and the duplicate of that specific hero? Well, you're going to need 1,000,000 gold and 10 blue medals. On to skills 7 and 8. Now this is a slight difference between the seasonal heroes and the normal orange hero. So for a seasonal hero, if we click on skill 7, the level is the same. You have to reach level 45. Same for the gold, 2 million. This is where there's a difference. If it's a normal orange hero, you would just require 2 orange medals. So this would say hero medal orange 2. Where it gets difficult with the seasonal heroes is that they require 1 additional duplicate for this skill unlock, and then just 1 orange medal. So that's where completing those seasonal heroes, it becomes difficult, because you either have to collect them through the fragments or get lucky in recruitment and season rewards. So just to finish skill 8, you're going to need to have your hero maxed at level 50, 4 million gold, and as I said, you'd need another duplicate of that specific season hero, and then 2 orange medals. So again, the difference is, in a normal orange hero, you just need the 3 orange medals. So for a normal orange hero, you only need 1 duplicate of them for unlocking skill 6. For the seasonal heroes, you need 3 duplicates of them to be able to unlock skill 6, 7 and 8. So now we'll just go back to Orochi again and continue with running through the different skill types. So back in here, as we talked about, skill 2 is going to be a combat skill, and that's going to be a skill that the hero contributes to your attack or defense, some kind of element of the combat. Skill 3 is Legion Defensive Formation, and as you can see, for skill 3, this is a resistance buff skill. So it's going to give hero squad up to a maximum of 30% resistance if it's a normal orange hero. And resistance means that your troops can take more damage effectively. It's just they've got more defense, just to put it very simply. And obviously, again, the higher the level, the higher the percentage buff. Skill 4, again, it's a leadership skill, and with this one, it's always going to be a might buff. And again, with the normal orange heroes, up to a maximum of 30%. And might is effectively the damage that your troops will do to the opponent. So the higher your might, the more damage your troops will do. Skill 5 will be always your second combat skill. Usually it will be obviously have better benefits than skill 2. And again, as I've said before, it will have a variety of different effects. So this is just a pure combat skill for Orochi, but when you get to seasonal heroes, these combat skills have different effects. Skill 6, this is the awakening skill. So as I just said, every hero requires a duplicate of themselves to unlock this skill. When you do that, it will have these 6 awakening skills have different effects depending on each individual hero. So this isn't just unlike the skills 3 and skill 4, which are always to do with resistance and might. The awaken will always have this 250% bonus to leadership skills. So once you've activated this, you're going to be improving skills 1, 3, 4 and 7. And what that will do is that's going to massively increase your troop number, because you're giving that skill 1 an additional 250% bonus. And that's why skill 6 is really key for all your normal orange heroes, to be able to increase that troop number, and particularly for front row seasonal heroes, again, to do with the troop number, so you can maximize that. The other benefits that you'll get depends on the hero. So if we look at Orochi here, he's going to give up to a maximum. So this is level 10, this skill now, and it's giving 10% bonus to might and resistance. Plus, for Orochi, he's giving 7% HP bonus, which is basically increasing the health of your troops, and that means they're going to survive longer. I will quickly look at a couple of other 6th skills. So, as we say with Orochi, he gives a HP bonus. Let's have a look at Heaven's Justice and his 6th skill. For him, he's giving 20% bonus on the might and a 10% bonus on the resistance. So he's giving more might than Orochi would, but there's no bonus on that HP. And as you can see, the 250 bonus to leadership skills. For seasonal heroes, they often have much better benefits. So I'm just going to look at Rosen and the Avalanche here on their 6 skills. So for Rosen, one of her specific skills, so if you look here, it's plus 20 on the resistance, but then plus 180 cavalry speed. Now again, just to be clear, this 6th awakening skill is only effective in the hero squad, so only the troops that the heroes line is covering, not the other 2 lines of troops, the other 2 squads in your formation. So for the troops that are in Rosen's formation, in that squad, they will benefit from 180 increase on their speed. What's that going to do? Well, the quicker your speed, the more damage, the more hits that those troops can do. And if you've got a much higher speed because you've got Rosen in your legion, and you've got, for instance, you've maxed your cavalry enhancement camp, that gives an additional 250 cavalry speed buff as well, then obviously the more hits you can do, the quicker you're going to kill your opponent's troops. And if you've got a higher cavalry speed than them, then you're going to be hitting them more times than they can hit you, and you should be winning that battle. But there are other variables, of course. One last 6th skill to look at, Avalanche. And as I've already referenced, I think before in a couple of videos, Avalanche is a very unique hero. He gives 20% increased cavalry might and resistance, 10% increased damage, and this 300 increased demolition power, which is really unique, where obviously that just, well, it does exactly what it says. It increases the demolition value of that legion by 300. So if I look into my castle legions, you can see Avalanche, the demolition value for this legion is 759. What that means is you can take a tile, an enemy tile, with cavalry in 1 hit. And if you're taking, say, buildings, and you're close to the building, so whether that's a gate or a town or a city in, like a capital in Eden, you can adjust your troops in this legion. So I'll just do this now. So if you remove cavalry but put footmen, and footmen have a higher demolition value, but you keep the hero the same, because when you're attacking buildings it doesn't matter, then you can see here I've got a demolition value now of over 1,000. So each hit I'm going to be taking 1,000 off the demolition value of the building I'm attacking. So you're going to be able to basically do more damage with that legion, with the limited stamina that you have available. So that's just another little tip for you guys. Some of you who are maybe not C25, or you're earlier in the game, you might be wondering how I get my demolition value so high. Apart from that Avalanche skill, well, the higher the level of troops, I've got T9 troops, that increases your demo value, as does the number of troops in your legion. So I've got my training grounds maxed, all of the heroes skills 1 and 6 maxed, and also master warfare research. There are a couple of elements in that also buff your demo value, so that's why I've got such a high value. Going back into the skills, so just 2 more skills to run through, guys. The 7th skill is another leadership skill, as I've said. And now the difference with this to the other leadership skills is that it is, if you look here at the target, it says Heroes Legion. So this is why it is the penultimate skill that you can unlock, because this is one of the skills which is going to give a buff or a benefit to all of the troops in all 3 squads, all 3 lines of your legion. And again, for this 7th skill, it's not the same for every hero. If you look here, Oroki, on his one, his is again one of the more unique ones. He gives an extra 15% HP, and usually the other 2 types of 7th skill are either resistance. So Dual Blades, her 7th skill is a resistance buff up to plus 30%, but the most common is a might buff. So if we look at Heaven's Justice, his 7th skill is giving that extra 30% might to all of the troops in the Legion, all 3 lines. So it will either be might resistance or HP. But it's worth checking. Which leaves us with the 8th skill. And as I said, this is a combat skill, and it's usually going to be, well, it will be your most effective skill. So for instance, in a normal orange, it will probably be a pure damage skill. So as you can see, Oroki, 30% chance to deal 644% damage. That's a high level of damage. Heaven's Justice, 55% chance to deal 506 damage to multiple enemy targets on turns 3, 5 and 8. So it's always going to be kind of your most effective skill, I would suggest. And depending on the hero, so if we look at Warlord, for instance, he's a buff type of hero. He's not an attacking hero. He's a support hero. So his 8th skill, for instance, on turn 1, 3, 5 and 7, 100% chance to increase the chance of casting for 1 random friendly squad's final combat skill to 100%. If the skill requires prepping, 60% chance to skip skill 1 turn of prepping. So basically what that's doing is on 4 turns in the battle, he will make one of the other 2 heroes in that squad cast their skill 8, and there's a 100% chance of it happening. So if you compare that to the chances for the normal orange heroes, there are some of these seasonal heroes, their skills are guaranteed to happen, and that's why they're so coveted. You're more likely to get a benefit from their skills than your normal orange heroes, where there's a less percentage. There's a couple of other points I'd like to talk about with these skills. So one of the key things for you to consider with these combat skills is effective range. And this effective range is what determines, in terms of a offensive attacking hero, what line of your legion they're going to be in. What you have to imagine is you've got 2 sides to the battle, and each have 3 rows, and the effective range is how many rows that skill will hit. So for instance, Oroki's skill effective range 2, if he's on the front row, then he can hit the front and the middle row of your enemy. But if you put him on your back row, that range of that skill would only be the middle and front row of your own troops. It wouldn't be active because it can't reach the opponent. That's why if you look at, for instance, Heaven's Justice, he is a back row hero because you see here his combat skill effective range 5. It will go over the 2 rows of your own troops, and then it can reach all 3 rows of your opponent. So that is what effective range means. Be careful with that though, because that is applicable for your combat offensive heroes. But if you've got a support hero where which would be like a seasonal hero, so Warlord for instance, if you look at, for instance, his first skill 2 here, it has effective range 3. But this is the other thing for you guys to make sure you look at, is what the target is. So you'll see here, the target for this skill is actually 3 random friendly squads within effective range. And during battle, all friendly cavalry squads have minus 20% attack damage, but 45% increase to combat skill damage. So that is giving a buff to all 3 squads in your legion. So that's where you need to kind of check what the target is saying. It'll either be for your own squad, friendly squads, or it's attacking. So for Heaven's Justice, he's a back row, he's a killer hero. So your back row heroes are usually going to be your killers. And as you can see here, the target for this skill, it will hit 1 random enemy squad within effective range. His second combat skill would hit 3 random enemy squads within effective range. and the last one would hit 2 random enemy squads with an effective range. So this is obviously, skills are quite a complex subject, but you need to read when you're starting the game and you're seeing new heroes. Even now in Eden, we've just got a load of new X-heroes that we're having to learn and understand. So it's really important you spend that time to read through each skill and try and understand whether that hero is either an offensive attacking hero or if they're going to be a support hero. Or there are some that do both, and generally if that's the case, they're most likely to be a middle row hero. But that's not a complete rule, it's just a generalization. So the last thing I want to show you is why are season heroes so much better than your regular orange heroes. Well, let's take Living Saint, for instance, my S3 killer hero for cavalry. If you remember, on the normal orange hero, the maximum for Oriki or Heaven's Justice, the maximum buff they were getting on this third skill was 30%. For a season hero, it maxes at 50% resistance. Same for your might, 50%. And also on skill 7, it's going to give, on the normal orange, it only gives 30%. On the season heroes, it's giving 40%. And that's, again, don't forget, to the whole legion. You're more likely to get improved stats on your awaken skill as well. So the other elements, the 250% increased leadership skills effect is always the same. But if you look here, for instance, Living Saint is giving 15% increased cavalry might and resistance, plus 15% increased cavalry damage. So that's 3 different elements to, well, there's actually 4 different elements to that skill. And then when we look at their combat skills, they're usually going to be more effective, whether in terms of the benefits they give to your own troops or the damage that they could potentially do to your opponent. So Living Saint, combat skill 2, if you see, it's effective range 3, and the target, it's going to hit all 3 random enemy squads. If you compare that to Heaven Justice's skill 2, it has an effective range of 5 again. He's a back row hero, but if that skill activates, it's only going to hit 1 of the random enemy squads. So most of these combat skills are going to have will create more damage to more troops, and or they will provide a better kind of effect to your own troops. So again, this second combat skill, combat effective range 5, it will again hit all 3 random enemy squads. So those are kind of the key differences between orange and seasonal heroes in terms of the skills as well. So that's everything on this video, guys, about the basics of hero skills. As I've said, you do need to invest time in looking through each and every hero. Different heroes are supposed to go on different lines of your legion. Different hero skills have different effects, particularly season heroes. Their combat skills differ greatly, and it's worth taking the time to read through each skill that a hero has and work out the benefits that hero is going to give to you. There's one last thing that I would like to point out, is that we've talked about troop numbers and the importance of awakening that 6th skill first. For your back row, your killer hero, so that's people like Zorro for archers, Heaven's Justice and Hurricane for all 3 troop types, Living Saint and Immortal for cavalry, all of these kind of Iron Hand for footmen, Desert Storm for footmen, all of these kind of back row heroes, you can focus on using your first duplicate to unlock their 8th skill first, because what you've got to think about is that those heroes, the troops in that squad, will be the last ones to be hit the most, because you're going to have your front row and your middle row being hit more often earlier. So if you have a strong defensive front row with a good defensive hero, like a Brave, like a Warlord, for instance, which is going to protect the other troops for longer, that's the benefit of having the 8th skill unlocked for your killer hero, because you can then maximize the damage that you're doing to your opponent, and hopefully you can kill them, defeat them before they are reducing your troop lines and reducing your front line to 0, which then obviously can quite often lead to you losing the battle. So that's a key thing to think about. If you've got a back row hero, you want to be unlocking all of their combat skills as quickly as possible. And everyone that I know that plays the game, if they've got a killer hero, they would unlock skill 8 first before they unlock skill 6 with that first duplicate. That definitely is everything for the video now, guys. I hope you found this informative. Heroes is quite a complicated subject, and one that lots of people kind of want information on. I constantly see other players asking us R4s for guidance and help in terms of their formations with their heroes in our Alliance chat. So I hope like this video has kind of given you a bit of base information about how you can assess heroes with the skills that they have, and I will do more detailed individual videos for each individual seasonal hero in the coming weeks, so you can have a better idea of what, probably which heroes you're wanting to aim for depending on the strengths of your own individual accounts. So thank you very much for watching the video, guys. Please do continue to subscribe, ring that bell, like, share, and place any comments that you have below, and I will continue to check out those comments and obviously make videos that you guys are wanting to see. Obviously the idea of this channel is that I can provide as much support and assistance to you all as possible, while also doing like the fun elements of showing like recruitment and everything else. Next week it's seasonal recruitment hero return event for Skybreaker, the archer hero. I'm looking to get some duplicates for him in my Pond Solo account. So I will be doing hero returns next week, and I'll be recording that. I've got nearly 200 tickets saved for that event, for that account, as it's an archer's account, and I'm really trying to focus on having that good archers class legion. So that should be a fun video for you all to watch next week. So thanks very much again, and I'll see you soon.